Power Query now exists in Excel for the web, which is pretty cool. And here you can see it on the left, and on the right, I've got the classic on Excel desktop. As you can see, there's two new views. For example, this is called the diagram view. This is called the schema view. And you also have like new things like the key column that you can only add in the Power Query for the web solution. Here, the steps are a lot more visual. You can hover over them and get descriptions and things like that. You have more search bars like here. And also if you press plus, you also have a search bar where you can search to add in your commands. So I can say, for example, sort ascending, and then that will get added like that. So my name is David Benaim, and I love talking about all the cool new stuff that's coming to Excel, including Power Query for the web. And in this video, we're going to focus on all the stuff that is for the web and not on desktop. Let's get going. So I'm going to go to the Home tab and close and load. This is similar behavior to Excel for desktop. In the Data tab, you now have these two new things that allow you to get data from table or range, or the Get Data dialog as well. And this will get you to this pane, Launch Power Query Editor or Data Source Settings. So this is how you can get data from different sources. There are similar sources to what there are in Excel desktop. This is actually the new interface of how to get data in Power Query for desktop as well. So there's not much different there. You can also upload, which is pretty cool, which you can't do directly in the other one. So here you have the query pane, and you have a couple more options in the query pane. You can click on that and choose to refresh just that group, or you can choose to search, and you have a search bar, which you don't have in the regular Power Query queries pane. So if you want to get back to Power Query, you can go to the Data tab and choose Launch Power Query Editor. And here you go. Annoyingly, you can't maximize it at the moment. I can find a way to do that. So here we've got the normal data view. In the View tab, we can switch between data view and schema view, or schema view, however you pronounce it. The schema view is really only good if you are looking to rearrange columns, to mass delete or remove columns, or if you're looking to set data types for multiple columns at the same time. This can be useful for it. There isn't that much else that you can do with it because you can't see a column. I think that they could have done it where you could see like the first 1 or 2 columns as examples, but hey, it is still pretty good for the limited number of things that you're going to do. So we can switch this one to data view, and data view, you have everything that you're used to. So enable column profile. But in this one, which is a diagram view, this one, you can turn it on or off. If you don't want to see all your data, you can click there to get rid of it. So if you got auto highlight related queries, then it will highlight them all. Or if I take that off, I click on another query and it will just highlight that one. Don't really see what the point of that is, except just to quickly see what's going on. You've also got compact view. I'll show you that now. So it doesn't actually do anything unless you expand it like this. So this is kind of like the queries pane if it is in compact view. Query settings pane, it's pretty much the same. However, if you go to take it off, then it becomes horizontal. The mini map is this thing. This allows you to navigate if you've got lots of queries around. And you can also do other things like make it full screen or fit to view like that, or just reset it. So to exit out, you will want to go to diagram view and untick show mini map like that. This is opposed to how desktop used to do it, which was in the view tab. You have query dependencies view. This is a much, much simpler version of that diagram view. I much prefer it. Okay, you also have the script view, and this is basically what happens in the formula bar. So if I turn that on, then this is the regular formula bar, or this is all of the query in one view. If you're into code, then that might be what you want, but usually I wouldn't. The advanced editor is pretty much the same as the one in desktop. The views are probably the things that's changed the most, and they are pretty useful, especially the diagram view, I think. But there are some extra settings and some extra buttons on this that we'll go through. So if I expand that out, you're going to see some things like markers key that I showed you earlier. And you can go to the add column tab. You have this rank column, which is new. And you can say, I want to rank from low to high or from high to low, whatever. I'm going to press low to high. We'll do that. It'll just rank them basically. Or I can also go to rank column and choose advanced, and I can choose multiple rankings. So I can rank the event style, low to high, high to low. I can rank the date to, which is time. I can rank that high to low. And here you have what to do with ties, basically. These are 3 different methods of dealing with ties, whether it will kind of go continuously or it will skip until, if you've got ties on level 2 and 3, it will go 1, 2, 2, 4, or whether it will go 1, 2, 2, 3, or whether it will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just kind of arbitrarily do that. So if I go with ordinal, then event style that has only 2 text values, we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Note that these will change if there is an error, which is pretty good. There you go. And then you can rename it. So I can rename this to time and this one to ranking of something else, etc. And they can be good for sorting and other quick stuff that you can do. So over here we have some data we want to clean. So like usual, we can select this and we can choose remove other columns. And I can filter out the nulls by choosing remove empty. And then I can use headers as first row. Sometimes you need to click more things to get there, but here, use headers as first row. As you can see, I've got country names that are slightly misspelled. So probably one of my coolest things that you can do that is an alternative is you can go to the Add Column tab and choose Cluster Values. So if I click on that, I can add a new column name, and then you have fuzzy cluster options here. So you can say how much is a similarity threshold. If you've used merge queries, then this is pretty much the same options that you can get, but you can do it all through the user interface in a much nicer way, I think. Group by combining text parts. This is whether you ignore spaces or not. Yes, ignore case, upper, lower case, and show similarity scores. I really, really like that. Press OK. You also have a transformation table that you can add. Here you go. So here is the ones that it's added. It's added these 2. So how similar it is, and the one that it's clustered together. So as you can see, it's clustered some together. For example, France and France misspelled it's put together, but sometimes it's made mistakes. So as you can see, it's put together Slovenia and Slovenia here, even though this is actually Slovakia, but it is 91% similar. So it doesn't get it right every time, but it is good to just kind of get an idea of what it is, and then manually you would correct whether it needs to change. But it's quite good the way that it does it. Netherlands and the Netherlands, and Holland, it didn't work out. But if you had another table, you could add that would be called a transformation table to get to and from the other one. I do have another video where I talk about this, because actually you can get to the same features in Excel desktop or Power BI desktop if you use the formula. So if you use this thing, table.add fuzzy cluster column, you can actually copy and paste that into the other one. And I can show you, I can copy it, I can go to Excel. I've already done it in this example. This is actually something from an earlier example. So if I click on the FX one, and then I copy and paste this, but instead of that one, I'm going to change the name of the previous step. Press enter, and then it does actually work, and it does add these 2 columns in the same way. So everything that you do on Power Query Online, even though you don't see it in the Add Columns tab, it is that you are able to do it with a custom code in Power BI or in Excel's Power Query. So another thing that we can do is, let me duplicate this column. I can, even if I want to, go to transform and group by, and I also have fuzzy grouping options. So this is another thing that's only available in online. So I could say, for example, count the rows under each of those, use fuzzy grouping. So if you do show similarity scores under count rows, it doesn't work like that. But if you were to do a sum of something, then you can do it. Note the transformation table is blank because I don't have any other tables available here. But let's just do a count rows without this one and press OK. And there you go. So it's got 2 under France. It's Slovenia, it's included Slovakia there as we saw before. So it's not perfect, and it hasn't done these 2 either. So I'm going to exit out of these steps. So those are 2 new things. Marcus key is another one. So if I click that on this column, it is able to do a key here, and it just kind of marks it as a key. Generally, you want to do this when there is a column without duplicates. What it does is it essentially kind of makes merging queries faster, a faster operation, and that's pretty much it. But for good practice, it can be a good thing to do if you are going to merge queries. So those are the ones that are noticeably similar. All of these are pretty much the same as Power Query on desktop. In fact, I couldn't notice any features that are available in desktop that are not available here. In custom column, you do have a data type option. So for example, if you say equals plus the column similarity times 2, then you can set the data type to be a whole number, and then it rounds it to the nearest whole number like that. So that is a useful trick as well. So I kind of wish that existed on the desktop one, because if it did, it meant you wouldn't have to then take another step to add that. Another thing that you will have noticed is the difference here. You have the icons, and actually the views are much, much better in Power Query Online. So in the views here, for example, you can point to it and then things pop up. You can click on the different things. You have the icon of what it does to help you visually as well. This is the settings, which you have elsewhere as well. And if you right click and add properties and add a description, so this is similarity times 2, press OK. Then when you hover over it, it will give you that pop-up as well. It also has this. This is kind of like what happens in terms of query folding. It's a bit more of an advanced step that I won't go into in this, but it can be quite nice, and you do have more places where you can hover over and get pop-ups. The queries and connections in online is also more sophisticated. So you'll see there's a more modern user interface, but you can do more things with it. So you have actions that you can do at the group level. I can do a refresh, for example, or I can copy at the group level and do other things. And also I get a search bar, which I don't get in the more limited version on Power Query Desktop. The options, however, are much better on desktop, much more advanced. So in Get Data, you have the Launch Power Query Editor, and then you have Query Options. In online, you have to launch a query and then go to options from here. But there is a lot less you can do. For example, there are differences. So obviously the data view and the schema view you have only in online, because you don't have that option in desktop. You only have data view. And then these things are extra steps that you get in online. But some of the things that I love is this one. You can change the default query load settings. I use this all the time. I click specify which ones to do and untick both of them, but you can't do that at this time on online. This one, background data, where you do, this is also something I use a lot. Usually I do never detect column types, because I do that manually because I'm a Power Query veteran, and you can do that in online and desktop in the global settings. However, in global, this is another big one. In privacy, you can say always ignore, and you can only do that at the query level in Power Query, which is not ideal, or the project level, which is not ideal because this is breaks merged queries. And the reason why it might be a privacy issue is so rare that I am not sure why Microsoft puts so much effort into making that the default, because, and the error message that comes out when you can't merge queries is completely confusing to everyone. But yeah, so I choose always ignore privacy level settings. Some of you who are Power Query veterans may shout at me for that statement. Sorry about that. Sometimes we say in Cambodia. Anyway, I wanted to show you Power Query Online. I hope I've done a good job with that. So yeah, check out my other videos if you liked what you've seen. Thanks for watching.